Shannon,
Yes.
can your Eagles win the NFC without Wentz?
I believe they can. And why is because they're so balanced. They can run the ball with the best of them. Again, 32 rushes, 139 yards, 4.3 average. So they can run the football. Carson Wentz was unbelievable. He was dealing before he got hurt. And for him to stay in 4 more plays, throw that touchdown, Skip, they ran 85 plays to the Rams 45. They possessed the ball 39 minutes and 12 seconds to the Rams 20 minutes. Skip, that's unheard of, Skip. Almost 2-to-1 ratio time of possession. I think the reason why I say they can is because if you look at what they're doing, look at Case Keenum in Minnesota. You run the football. If you can run it, you can play action pass. You're going to get guys, Thielen, Diggs, wide open, and then you turn it over to your defense. Philly has an outstanding defense. I know it felt good to our colleague Howie. His son, Chris Long, made the game-changing play.
He did.
Skip, I believe they can because if you go back and look at history, Jeff Hostetler, if you remember in 90, he only started 2 games. He had only started 4 games up until the 2 games that Phil Simms got hurt.
Yep.
In 1990, he started 2 games, and he kept that going through the playoffs. Look at Trent Dilfer, what he did. He came in 8 games into the season. We took off. Tom Brady, 5 games. They took off. I like Nick Foles. He's been a starter before. Skip, and I know it's cliche-ish, well, he knows the offense. He really does. Because when he was released, when the trade for Sam Bradford went to Minnesota, Sam Bradford went to Philly, Nick Foles went to Minnesota. They ended up cutting him, and guess who he signed with, Skip? Kansas City. Doug Peterson was the offensive coordinator. So he knows this system front with the backwards. I take that back. Nick Foles went to the Rams. Sam Bradford was traded from the Rams to Philly. Yeah. That's how it happened. Sorry about that. And so he really knows this offense. What has to happen in the playoffs, Skip? If he's not one of those great Brady, Breeze, one of those guys that's been there, done that, your quarterback's going to have to make 1 or 2 throws. You saw Nick Foles on 3rd down. He made that throw to Aguilar. That's big time. Everybody can't make that. Everybody can't make that throw. He threw it the only place that he could throw it for that first down. For that first down. So I believe it, Skip. They have the number 2 rush offense. Alshon's making plays. Ernst was nicked up yesterday. Burton came in and they didn't miss a beat at the tight end position. Torrey Smith, all of a sudden, he's getting more confidence, getting involved in the offense. Aguilar is doing unbelievable. And that defense, that front 7, man, late in that ball game, they started hunting.
They did.
They started getting at the golf. And you see them, all of a sudden, they got closer and closer, and then they started getting them down, and the next thing you know, the ball was out. So there's no question in my mind, Skip. I believe Carson Wentz was going to be the MVP because this was his coming out party. To go on the road and beat that team in their building and then the performance that he was having, I didn't think they were going to lose another game. They would have been 14-2. He'd have been somewhere around 40-plus touchdowns, maybe fewer than 11, 12 interceptions. I believe he was going to be the MVP. That being said, I believe Nick Foles is more than capable because guess what? He's not going to have to see a Brady. Minnesota has a backup quarterback. Aaron Rodgers might come back, but right now they're on the outside looking in. You like Nick Foles head-to-head against Matt Ryan in that offense or Cam Newton in that offense with that defense Philly has? Skip, I believe they can do it. I actually believe, given the way the NFL is the way it's constructed right now and the teams that could possibly be in, I believe he can do it. With the way they run the football and the way they play defense, I believe he can make 1 or 2 throws during the course of the game that won't lose it, but will win it. There's no question in my mind he can get the job done.
And that's why you picked the Eagles before the year started to win the NFC East?
No.
Oh, I forgot.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You just jumped on the bandwagon at
You picked the Cowboys. That wasn't a question. Can they win the NFC East? We can't talk about the Cowboys because they're not winning the NFC East. They lost all the tiebreakers.
But you picked the.
They lost all. Doesn't matter who I picked. Doesn't matter who I picked.
Giants.
Did you pick the Cowboys?
The Giants.
Are the Cowboys going to win the NFC East? So we were both wrong.
No, but they might make the playoffs.
We'll
talk about that in just a
minute. They don't hold the tiebreakers over anyone.
I got it. Back to the Philadelphia Eagles, your new team. First of all, I want to say about Carson Wentz that I hated seeing him get hurt. I root against him because I'm a Cowboy fan and I don't like the Eagles. So because you suddenly leaped on the Wentz bandwagon.
I was always on his bandwagon.
You have been, but on their bandwagon, I have rooted against him all year. I did not want to see him go down. This is another big star that the league has lost, and it's just not good for anybody.
When you saw that hit, what was the first thing go through your mind? RG3. I said, I was having lunch.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought, Skip. I said, that's RG3. Because remember, RG3 leg got
sandwiched. Yep. It
Exact
got
same
leg
play.
whipped.
Yep.
Yep. And unfortunately, the play didn't even count. So that's
what makes it.
I know. That's what was terrible about it. So I wish him a speedy recovery. I'm hoping against hope it's not as bad as they thought, but everybody seemed to think it was really bad because everybody last night was so down coming out of that locker room. Now, back to what happened in the game. Talk about a meant-to-be magic carpet ride of a year. I also thought there were two big penalties on the Rams that helped turn the tide in the game. The first one was on Tremaine Johnson. He got a trash talk penalty after he had broken up a deep pass on Jeffrey, and it led to the sequence at the goal line in which Carson Wentz got hurt, but it led to points. It led to a touchdown. And again, I admire Carson Wentz for sucking it up and gutting it out. I guess Doug Peterson had no idea he was really hurt.
Right.
But you could see if you study the replays of the video of it, he's limpy already. And I'm with you. I thought it didn't look very good. And yet he throws one high and way outside off target, and then it gets to 4th and goal. And I was surprised. I thought they just take the field goal.
Skip, you get out of my head. I'm like, dog, what are you doing? Just take the
just
point.
Take the points. Just take
but I forgot he had walking to him.
Oh, he had
He said, I'm going to hand, hey, Wentz, go hand this ball in the end zone to Alshon.
And you know what? I don't think he actually handed it to
Yeah,
him.
he did.
I'm still convinced. I think because remember, he wanted to go to Trey Burton, and he looks to his right, and he starts to throw it and then brings it down, and then he looks quickly to his left, and he's standing flat-footed because he can't turn hard on his left knee, and he just flips it sideways, and I think he might have been aiming at Aguilar cutting across. I'm not sure.
He wanted to put it on his back hip.
It's behind Alshon, and he reaches down and just picks it up off the just picks it clean right off the turf. It was a heck of a little catch. It's a little
Heck
catch,
of a throw.
but it was.
He didn't want to give it to
It was
Burton.
not a heck of a throw. But
He said to Burton, I already got you 2 tubs. Let me feed Alshon, because he nice.
So then in comes Nick Foles, and we have a couple of sequences of going for field goals, but I guess it was the first field goal sequence. It gets to be a 54-yard field goal, which the kid makes because he makes everything he looks at. But they get this penalty for leverage, and even Mike Pereira said on Fox, I know you have the sound turned down, he said, I'm sorry, I can't see it. And I keep looking at it, it's just phantom.
I think if the guy leaves his feet, Skip, if you ever leave your feet, you can't land on somebody.
Yeah, but he went right over the top.
But if his feet, if any part of your body, once you leave the ground, if any part of your body lands on someone else, even if it's just your cleats, they're going to call it.
Well, I didn't see anybody land on anybody else. And in the end, you give them the ball back, and even though they don't score a touchdown, they just eat the clock. They ate 2+ minutes of the clock, which became crucial at the end of the game.
Correct.
So those two calls obviously went against the Eagles. Now back to Nick Foles. Back in 2013, I don't know, on the old show, I don't know how many topics we did on Nick Foles, real or imagined. You know, like, is he real or fake? And I started calling him Foles Gold, as in fool's gold, because I just didn't think he would last. It was Chip Kelly.
Right.
And not only did he last, but he kept throwing touchdown passes and more touchdown passes. He threw 7 against the Raiders, remember that? And he winds up with 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. And I must admit, he grew on me through the year.
Right.
Because he's another one of those Austin, Texas, high-powered throwing high school products.
Threw it all in college. You threw it all in,
You know,
threw it in high school.
He went to Drew Brees High School.
Yeah.
Austin Westlake.
Austin
Westlake. And Baker Mayfield came from Austin Travis. There's been a whole bunch of throw it all over the lot guys who come out of Austin. But he went on to Arizona. He actually went to Michigan State first. Then he went to Arizona, and he threw it, and he threw it, and he threw it. And he's 6'6", 245. So he's got big pocket presence. And I know he can't move like Carson Wentz, but he comes in, and the first play he runs, he takes it down against the rush, and he goes for 9 yards up the middle. And I was like, that's Nick Foles? Because I thought the Rams, it was big advantage Rams with Nick Foles. But then I start thinking, and I look at his track record, he started 36 games in his life. That's a lot of starts. And he's 20-16 overall, but he's 15-10 as the Philly starter.
Right.
So you don't think he knows how to do this, what it feels like? And remember that year in 2013, they had a playoff home game against New Orleans, and he played pretty well. It was cold that night, but he threw for 195, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, had a QBR of 82, which is very high, and it went to the bitter cold end because it took a Sproles was playing for New Orleans then, a punt return with a horse collar that set up a walk-off field goal for New Orleans. So it was a close game. It was 26-24, and Foles actually played well enough to win that playoff game. So I'm looking at all the backup quarterbacks in football. Who has a better backup than Nick Foles? I mean, you could argue Sam Bradford and
Case Keenum.
and you know, and
Keenum's the thing. He's
and
starting now.
obviously-
Yeah.
yeah. But you know, Teddy Bridgewater, they're like incumbents. I mean, they're like they've been the starter, so you could say they have a better quarterback.
But Foles has more starts than Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, he does. No, I mean, he is made to order for this. He obviously knows the offense. He trusts the coaches. They trust him. So I can't bet against him because I am willing to admit this much. This is a loaded football team.
They defense.
They have their top 3 receivers are better than any one of my Cowboy receivers. Seriously.
And the
I'll take any of the 3.
I mean, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to suffer a little bit without Ertz. But Burton comes in and he's catching
Trey Burton is really good.
catching everything, Skip. And that little kid Clements,
He is good.
Sproles,
He's electric. Yeah, he's electric.
And now Big V, they're gonna. I was wondering, like left guard, how many times are you gonna let Aaron Donald beat you inside? The one thing don't let him beat you inside because he's closest to the quarterback, Skip. So he's gonna be right there in the quarterback's face. Make him go around the edge so now the quarterback can step up in the pocket. I thought Quinn and Aaron Donald, I thought they were gonna be Eagles by themselves because they ain't fooling with Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson was giving folks the business on that right side. Gonna give y'all the business too. But hey, that's neither here nor there. The Eagles got this. Walk it to him, doing what I said he would. All I know is this. When Eric Dickerson comes on here, he coming tomorrow, he better come dressed as Santa Claus. He better come bearing gifts because I needs me.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.